Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining Sports Talk Football. I'm your host, Kevin Zico, where we talk football all the time. Don't forget to subscribe. Push the like button, leave a like, let this video get out there, let a friend know about it. Tonight or today on Valentine's, happy Valentine's to everyone out there. We're going to be talking about the number one pick. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Bears. We're going to be talking about what the Colts owner said today at the press conference of announcing their new head coach. And there's a lot going on. A lot was said in few words. In my opinion, you usually don't see a GM or an owner, especially an owner, go out on a press conference on the day that they signed or announced their new head coach and say what he said. This, to be quote, we have a quote here, and in my opinion, this should be exciting for Indianapolis Colts fans, really exciting for Chicago Bears fans, and this should be big news to the NFL, because this is what was announced today. In my opinion, in my experience of football, of being involved in sports and looking into what GMs say about trades and free agents and players they might want, what was announced today, what was the question that was asked, and what the owner of the Indianapolis Colts said is usually not said. And when something like this is said, it just sets everything into motion. So, for you that don't know, the Indianapolis Colts today announced their head coach. And when he was asked about a quarterback position, he went out and said that they're obviously going to attend to get a young new quarterback, and that they're going to have to look and see if it's worth trading for, or do they stay put. And then he goes on to say that although that Bryce, that kid from Alabama looks really good, and obviously he's speaking of Bryce Young. So what's my point? My point is this. The owner of the Indianapolis Colts, when asked about the quarterback position, he went and said that we understand that the quarterback position is so valuable, and that they competed this year against two teams that were in the Super Bowl, and that they don't believe that they're that far away, and that they need that young future star quarterback, in my opinion, to take them to the next level. And he said that that Bryce Young, that kid from Alabama, don't look too bad. So what does that do? That sets a lot of things in motion, because obviously this news is going to get out to the Houston Texans, which are the division rivals of the Indianapolis Colts. This is going to get out to teams that do want to jump in front and make a trade with the Chicago Bears and say, you know what, hey, look, we're going to have to, start making phone calls. So in other words, what the owner of the Indianapolis Colts just said and announced today, Ryan Poles' phone, which is the GM of the Chicago Bears, is going to start to be very busy. As a matter of fact, wouldn't be surprised right now that if there's actually teams calling. Now, we do have another rumor. My opinion, I think it's just a rumor that the Washington Commanders has made a huge offer for the Chicago Bears, which is Darrell Payne is in it, and Young is in it, and their two wide receivers, Scary Terry is involved in it, and their number one pick last year, which was the 16th overall, is involved in it. And it's the 16th pick, the 42nd pick, or the 47th pick, and the first next year, and a second next year, which they're pretty much trading the whole team away. I don't believe that report. There was no one major to confirm that this was true. We actually don't even know who put the report out there, but that's going on. And then you got the owner of the Colts saying that, oh yeah, that Bryce Young kid is good, and that if they think that there's someone good enough that they have to trade up for to go get, paraphrasing, that they will go get. And he did say that that kid from Alabama looks pretty good. So I say that a lot of times because I need you to understand the chain reaction that this is going to set. When the Houston Texans hear this, obviously the Indianapolis Colts do not want Bryce Young to get to the Texans. And if the Texans got the heart set on Bryce Young, if they have their heart set on Bryce Young, they might have to offer the Chicago Bears that 12th pick overall, because the Texans got something that the Colts don't have. Just like I said in my last video, that the Seattle Seahawks have something that a lot of teams don't have, and that's 2 first-round picks to offer the Bears. They have the 5, their 20th to offer. But the Colts have the number 4 pick. I believe they have 35 and 73 in the first 3 rounds. My opinion, it would take the Colts to give up 4, a second, a third, maybe even a 5th and a 1 and a 2 next year. And maybe even a player at that, because all Texas is obviously going to have to bring up, the offer. And it might take that, I know Texans fans don't want to hear this, but it might take that 1 and 12. And maybe a 3rd and a 1 next year, because Texas the Houston Texans can afford it, guys. You guys can afford to give up 1 and 2, because you guys have the 33rd pick also, and you guys have 2 first-round picks next year, which is Houston's and Cleveland's. You guys have your own and Cleveland's next year, so you guys can technically offer a lot. You guys, if you really want that quarterback, but better yet, it's not just wanting that quarterback, because you can say, hey, we'll sit put at 2 and get the second best. So you're not just letting the number 1 quarterback go to any team. You're letting it go to your division rivals that you play 2 times a year, that you're going to compete with in and out. The Indianapolis Colts know what they're doing. They're usually good, okay? Every other, 10 years, they have a franchise quarterback, and not just a franchise quarterback, but one of the greatest, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and they're going to make a move this year. Is that guy the next Peyton Manning? It might not look like it now, but guys, listen to me. I don't think Bryce Young's the guy. I think he's too small. The talent's there, but I think he's too small. I like CJ. I like Will Levis. Will Levis is going to be a beast. Listen to me. That man is going to play good. But obviously, the Colts just said that they really love Bryce Young. You know who else fell in love with a quarterback and gave up a 3rd and a 4th and a 3rd next year and a 4th? You know who gave up a lot for that? The Bears fell in love with Mitchell Trubisky, and to drop from 3 to 2, they gave up a lot. Just check out what the Chicago Bears gave up to draft a quarterback that no one was going to get. But you know why they did it? Because they fell in love with Mitchell Trubisky, and they didn't want anyone else to get him. Well, we know that the Indianapolis Colts, after today, love Bryce Young, and they have to drop down 3 spots, and this is for the number 1 pick overall. You see, guys, there's a tag. There's a tax when you are drafting a quarterback. There's a tax when you trade for a quarterback in the NFL, and there's a tax when you're trading for the number 1 pick. The Houston Texans might say, you know what, we really don't want to give up a lot, but we might have to, because if they believe that Bryce Young is what everyone says he is, then the problem is they can't let the Colts jump in front of them and get that. Can you imagine right now, the Bears have the 2nd pick, and the Green Bay Packers have the 4th pick, and the owner for the Green Bay Packers went out and said, hey, we really like the kid from Alabama, but so do the Bears. They can't let that happen, because look what the Bears got to the NFC Championship, lost to Aaron Rodgers. The Bears, I believe, in the last 4 or 5 years, won 1 game against Green Bay. Why? Because they have Aaron Rodgers. Can you imagine if the Texans, you Texans fans, hold that number 2 pick? Say you guys don't want to give up the 12th pick or whatever is necessary to be better than the Colts offer, which I do believe Seattle is going to get involved in this, and Seattle will offer 5 and 20, because as I said in my previous videos, the number 1 pick is worth 3,000 points. The asking price from Seattle would be 5, 20, and a number the 2nd round pick. That's asking. That actually comes up to 3,040 some points. You might think that's a lot, but listen, if the Bears make a deal with Seattle, in order for the Seahawks to match the 3,000 points that the number 1 pick is worth, they would have to give up 5, which is a swap, but it still deducts the points. 5, 20, and a 2nd round pick comes up to exactly 3,040 some points. That's the asking price. So Houston might say, you know what, the Bears have Seattle, because if Seattle don't sign Geno Smith, they're going to be big players in this. But you see, the Bears can also do this. The Bears can also trade with Houston. See, if I'm the GM for the Bears, I would really try for the second pick and the 12th pick and a third round to drop one spot. I would request 12, the second, 12, and a second round pick or a third round pick from them, and one of Cleveland's. Okay, and then I would trade two, either to the Colts that sit at 4 or Seattle. And that's where I would get my second and third round picks. Because the Bears could still at 2 say, hey, Seattle, you want number 2? Well, we need 5, 20, and a third round pick. And that'll match it. Or they can call Indianapolis, hey, Indianapolis, you guys want Bryce Young? Because maybe the Colts, the Texans like someone else, and they draft CJ or Will Levis. They could go and offer the Bears the number 4, a second, a third, a first next year, and a player. But my point that I'm saying is what was said today by the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, it set Ryan Poles' phone to be on fire. Because now GMs across the league are going to be, hey, did you just hear what the owner for the Indianapolis Colts just said? And then that news gets out to the Texans. Hey, guys, if we want Bryce Young, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts said that he really likes that guy. He went on TV live and said that kid from Alabama don't look too bad. And they're going to have to sit down with their coach and with their GM and discuss if there's someone worth trading for or sitting put for it. But obviously, if he said the kid from Alabama don't look too bad, we know that kid's not going to be there at 4. So we know who Indianapolis likes. I believe we know who Houston likes, because Houston has been bad all year long. They thought all year long they was going to have the number 1 pick. So they was doing their due diligence throughout the season. So it becomes a battle for Young. The battle for Young. Is it going to be the Indianapolis Colts? They can offer the Bears 4, the 35th pick, 73, and then some, because it's going to take a lot. Remember, the asking price, they have to equal 3,000. They have to match 3,000 points. And then you got to bid the other team, which there's going to be 7 or 8 teams willing to trade for the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And as I said, if I was the Bears, our best world is that they trade to 2, get as much as you can from Houston, and then trade 2 to 4. So the Bears can still trade. Say Indianapolis offered the Bears the world, and the Bears sit at 4. They still might be in position to draft Jalen Carter. And it's hard to say what position the Bears are going to go after, because we have free agency first. You see, if I was the Bears, and if I can get either 5 and 20 from Seattle, or 4 or 2 and 12 from the Colts, I would get 2 and 12 from Houston, and then trade 2 to 4 and get what I could from them. But I would draft Jalen Carter. In any scenario, if Jalen Carter is there, I would draft him, and I would definitely try everything I can possible to get the running back from Houston, from Texas. Robinson is going to be a beast. The kid has got special talent. He can catch, he can run, he can juke, he can run to you, he can run around you. If you guys are watching, let me know your opinion. If you're a Colts fan watching this, what will you give up? Hearing what your owner said today about Bryce Young and the number 1 pick. What are you willing to give up? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be a 4 and a 2 and a couple of draft picks next year. Late 3rd and 4th round picks next year. It's not going to be. Because your owner just announced to the world that, hey, we're serious about this. And it sounds like to me like they already have their heart set on Bryce Young and the number 1 pick. And don't forget that the Bears GM, Ryan Poles, have some kind of friend relationship going on with your guys' GM, Valor. You guys have an offensive coach. He's going to need a young quarterback. You know, I really would like to know what scheme does the scheme of Bryce Young fit with the Indianapolis head coach. Now we just need to find out, who does Houston like? If you're a Texas fan and you're hearing from Sports Talk Radio there in Texas, let us know, which quarterback do you guys like? What's the news coming out from your sports station? Who are you guys willing to draft or want to draft? Who are you guys hoping that would fall to you without trading? Let us know. Leave us comments. Let us know what your opinion about this. Indianapolis Colts fans, let us know, what is your opinion on what your owner said today, and what are you guys willing to give up? Because it's going to be a lot. Because let me tell you, the teams that are going to be on this, you have the Texans will be in on this. Obviously, the Indianapolis Colts will be on this. Carolina Panthers are in on this. The Las Vegas Raiders will be in on this. Tampa needs a young quarterback. The Seahawks, when they don't sign Geno Smith, when Geno Smith wants 3 or 4 year contract at $30 million or $25 to $30 million, they're not going to get that. When they don't sign Geno Smith, they're going to need a quarterback, and they have $520 and a couple draft picks to offer. They have a lot to offer. You know why? Because they got a lot from Denver, and they could say, hey, you know what? We got Denver's first 3 picks, the next 3 years. We got first round picks coming left and right, and second and third round picks. I don't got a problem giving the Bears, 520 and a second and a 1 next year and a 2 next year. Remember, Pete Carroll's going to want to win the Super Bowl before his career is done, and he's not getting any younger. Don't sleep on Seattle. You got Seattle, Indianapolis, Houston, Carolina, Las Vegas, Atlanta. That's just in the top 10. What is Detroit going to do at 6? Do they really love Jared Goff that much? This is amazing for the Bears. This is great news for the Bears. What the owner for the Indianapolis Colts said, I thought this wasn't going to get kick-started to the NFL Combine until the owner comes out or GM says, hey, we really liked Willis today. We really like CJ today. We really love Bryce Young. No, but it already happened. Ryan Poles' phone is going to be buzzing if it's not already. The Indianapolis Colts have set things in motion today. They have their head coach. They have a game plan, and it's Bryce Young. Texas, how are you going to respond to that? The Chicago Bears should put up a statue of Davis Mills throwing that Hail Mary. For the Colts, the best thing in the world that happened to you guys was losing that game. Because of that happening, you guys dropped to 4 instead of 5. And because of that catch in the end zone and the 2-point conversion, instead of Houston drafting number 1, they're now drafting number 2, and the Bears are willing to trade with you. Because you was never going to trade with Texas. You Bryce Young fans, let me know. Convince me and tell me that I'm wrong. Give me some information out there to tell me that I'm wrong on Bryce Young. I think he's too small. If you can come up with reasons to tell me that he's worth the number 1 pick despite his weight and size, I don't care about the height. I just would love for him to be 195, 200 pounds, because he's not 195 right now. He's like 180. He's not muscle. Drew Brees was small, you might say. Yes, he was. But you know what? Drew Brees had a lot of muscle. Maybe Bryce Young is the next great quarterback. That's fine with me. I have Justin Fields. Did you not see what went on in the Super Bowl? The biggest play of the game was done by what? It's not the penalty. It's not the touchdown. pass. It was what put the game and what killed the Eagles, what put the game almost away and killed the Philadelphia Eagles, was that Patrick Mahomes was able to run for 20 yards or 15 plus yards and put them in field goal range and pick up a first down. The capability of a quarterback running out of the pocket, and the Bears have that. Justin Fields does not have a problem passing the ball. Just go back and watch what he did at Ohio State. Watch what he did in the Rose Bowl. The arm the quarterback has, I think Justin Fields has a top 5 arm in the NFL. Now it's once you get him the receivers that are open, that create the space. I'm telling you guys right now that I'm fine with Justin Fields, because that game showed me the quarterback for the Eagles, Hurts, had 3 rushing touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl because he was able to pick up 15 plus yards on a run. Yes, it's great to pass the ball, but it also causes a confusion when they know that your quarterback can take the ball to the house. So you Chicago Bears fans, imagine getting a bunch of draft picks back, going out and getting a DeAndre Hopkins or Juju Smith, or getting drafting a Rasheed Davis, a Jaron Reed, maybe getting Quentin Johnson if you can get the 12th pick overall. I want Robinson. Or I really like the kid from Alabama. I really like him a lot. Gibson looks great. Jamal Gibbs looks great. If I'm the Bears, I don't give David Montgomery $10 million. I mean, I love him. I love his attitude, but I don't feel that he took advantage enough of what Justin Fields brought to the field and how he made it easier for a running back to run the ball. And he's getting older. I think that they should save that $7 or $8 million. And you Bears fans, whoever thinks that the Bears are going to go crazy on the offensive line in the draft, believe me, Ryan Poles is not going to let free agency pass and not fix the offensive line. He might draft 1 or 2. He'll draft 1 in the late rounds and maybe 1 in the 3rd. But he's going to fix that offensive line before the season starts. He's going to get guys coming off the edge on the defense before the draft starts, because there's no way he's going into the NFL draft and letting free agency pass and allowing Justin Fields to start a year with protection by younger players. He's going to protect them with veterans, and he might get 1 or 2 players that they can develop to block Justin Fields. So these picks are going to go on tackle, corner, wide receivers, and running backs. And maybe a safety, depending on how Eddie Jackson will come back from this injury. They will draft a safety this year. And don't be surprised if it's the kid from, I forgot to wear the blue jersey. He's a ball hogger. Boise State. Boise State's got a safety that's a ball hog. Who else better to learn from than Eddie Jackson? These picks are going to go on receivers, running backs, cornerbacks, and defensive line. He will fix the offensive line in free agency. Can you imagine if the Bears if Washington don't get Payne and you can get Payne and Jalen Carter? If you can get the edge number 97 from the Eagles, it's going to be fun. And the Indianapolis Colts have just set things in motion. The Bears' cell phone of Ryan Poles is going to be ringing off the hook. So let us know, what is your opinion? What do you think the Bears should do? Should they trade just 1 and 4? Should they do the trade for 4 with Indianapolis and get what you can? Should they trade with 2 and go from 2 and try to get the 12th pick, or get what you can from the Texans and then trade 2 to 4? I believe the Bears are going to do multiple trades. But I know Indianapolis really, 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 really likes Bryce Young. And I'll tell you what, if the Bears do the trade with Indianapolis, and hey, guess what? There's another quarterback on the board, and Jalen Carter and Will Anderson's not there, they're going to trade from 4. And don't be surprised if the Bears want more draft picks next year, because the class this year supposedly is not that good. They're saying it's only like 100 players deep. And honestly, when I do the NFL fantasy draft, after the fourth, fifth round, I'm kind of like, okay, who's this guy? Let us know your opinion. Let us know, Houston fans, Texans fans, Las Vegas Raiders fans, Panther fans, whoever's watching this, what is your team hearing? Even if you're not in for the NFL draft, the number one pick overall, even if your team's not involved in it, let us know what you guys are hearing, what free agents going where, what player you guys might be releasing. Because in this show, we give you guys real talk, real rumors, not just what we're speculating might happen. We don't predict trades overboard. Like I heard a podcast from the Indianapolis Colts saying that, hey, well, I would give the Bears the fourth pick and maybe a future second. What? You're crazy. They want the number one pick, but yet they don't want to give nothing up for it. We know that already, that it was reported that Bears value just number one pick. We know that the Bears are going to ask for a haul back. We know that the Indianapolis Colts is in love with Bryce Young. We know that the Texans are not just going to sit back and watch Indianapolis that leapfrog in front of them. We know the Raiders are going to need a quarterback. We know Carolina is going to need a quarterback. We're already hearing that Washington has made the Bears a major offer. These are just the known facts. And in this show, we give known facts. What we already know. Yeah, we'll speculate a little bit, but we're not going to just throw something out there. What I will speculate, what I will throw out there is that when the Seattle Seahawks don't sign Geno Smith, they will be in on it too. And I told you guys, 3,000 points is the number one pick, so they would have to offer the Bears 520 and a second round pick just to match the 3,000 points. That's action price. So imagine what it's going to take from Indianapolis that don't have 2 first round picks this year. And remember, next year's first round picks only count for half of what it counts as a middle round pick, because they can't speculate and say, hey, they're going to be a really bad team, and they can't say, hey, they're going to be one of the best teams. So it puts it right in the middle. Whatever draft picks you guys trade that are future draft picks, they count for in the middle. So if a second round draft pick is 400 points where you're sitting over there, it'll be like 250. We're closing in on our show. We have 2 minutes left. You know, these are the known facts. Indianapolis loves Bryce Young. The Texans are not just going to sit back and watch Indianapolis leapfrog them. The Raiders need a quarterback. The Chicago Bears, it's already broken news. They already broke the news that the Bears value the number one pick, and they want to haul back. The Raiders are not bringing back Derek Carr. We don't know where Aaron Rodgers is going. We know Tom Brady's retired. We know for sure that Carolina needs a quarterback, that the Raiders are going to need a quarterback, that Atlanta is going to need a quarterback. Seattle is not going to sign Geno Smith at 3 years, $30 million a year. These are just known facts. We know that the Colts went out and said, hey, we're discussion on should we trade, should we go back, should we say put. But hey, that kid from Alabama is really damn good. Let us know your opinion. Please leave a like, subscribe. You know, over here we just don't talk Bears. We'll talk whatever you want to talk. Leave us a subject. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know your favorite team. Just type on the board your favorite team, and we'll give your team a shout out. Give us your name. We'll give you a shout out. You know, if you want to come up on the show and talk, that's not a problem. Believe me, I do not have a problem on it. We'll be doing live pretty soon. We're going to be getting this out on Twitter where we can take questions and answers and just take it like phone calls. We're going to be making a podcast. We're going to be giving out giveaways. We're going to blow this show up. People are going to hear about Sports Talk Football, because this is where we talk football, talk it all the time, and we talk things that we know for sure. We're not going to throw some things out there that's ridiculous. Like I said, I don't believe the Washington Redskins are going to give up everything to give the Bears. I don't believe that report's real. But if they do move from 16-1, that's what it's going to take. A Scary Terry, a Payne, a Young, the 16th pick overall, which was a receiver they drafted last year, and the 16th pick, and the 47th pick, and a first and a second next year. Remember, if the Bears make a trade with Seattle, the asking price will be $520 in a second. Can your team match that? Is your team willing? Are you willing to match that or go above and beyond that? Because it's going to take a lot for teams that don't have 2 first-round picks. Do you believe that the Bears are going to trade multiple times? Like I said, let us know the rumors you're hearing. Let us know what your sports town is talking about. Which quarterback does your guys' team like? Who is your number 1 free agent targets for other teams? Thanks for joining the show. Watch. Remember, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a like. Let us know your comments, your opinion, what you think about this. Thank you guys. Have a blessed day. Happy Valentine's. Thank you guys for watching Sports Talk Football. Remember, I'm your host, Kevin Zico. We will see you tomorrow.